So Pedro, please guide us through uh, your presentation. We are so much eager to see and listen to you.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm super excited for being here. I think that's a great idea from CEEGS project to bring uh, to bring business and market people, so we can have a different perspective on innovation. So the idea for today, it was to give some educational and practical approach regarding business and market, uh, for the innovation have impact in their activities. So why most innovation fail? Who has seen a great tech project that never became a business or failed? I'm 100% sure that all of you have seen. So in one sentence, what's a business model? A business model is how we create, deliver, and capture value. However, 72% of new offers, they fail to deliver value. So customers, they don't care about 7 out of 10 launch. This is because there is a lack of a customer-centric approach. But to have this customer-centric approach, it's a really hard task, because customers, they are really bad at specifying what they want, especially talking about new products and service. So Clayton Christensen, who is an economist and professor of business administration at Harvard Business School, he developed this methodology uh, called jobs to be done. So these methodologies have the goal to understand what are the jobs that our potential customers are trying to do. So he says that if you understand the job that the customer is trying to do, it's because it's become clear how to improve this product. So I'm gonna give you one example that is a not tech example. However, people, they tend to fix and they tend to understand this concept uh, when I give this example. So in his book, and this is a practical approach uh, that happened. Uh, there were a chain that had the goal to grow the milkshake sales. So the customers, in some interviews, they asked for new flavors, price tricks. However, the sales, they didn't move. So Clayton, who was contracted as a consultant for this chain, he started to observe that 50% of shakes that were sold before 8 a.m. buyers, they were alone. They bought only a shake and then they drove off. Then the real job emerged. Make the morning commute less boring. Occupy 20 minutes of their morning in the traffic. Hold until the lunch, one hand and without a mess. So the Clayton idea was to optimize for this job, that it was to eat something in their car and spend that time. So to optimize for the job, they developed a thinner straw to slow down speed, fruit chunks to make it more unpredictable during morning routine, and thicker shakes so it takes longer to drink. And with this change that nobody asked for, so he had to understand their jobs first. The results, so their sales, they increased 4 times by reframing by job, and they unlocked this growth by competing with other competitors, because the real competitors were not milkshakes. There were bananas, there were donuts and chocolates, the other alternatives for these jobs. So in his book, he says that jobs endure, solutions they change. So imagine about music. We had vinyl, we have cassettes, we have CDs, downloads, streaming, but the job, they are still the same. Listen to music. So imagine Henry Ford when uh, when he was designing his inventions. Imagine if he would ask his potential customers what they wanted. What do you think that they would say? So to have an analysis 100% evidence based, I time travel to ask Henry Ford in person. So here his answer.
Hello, Pedro. Hello, CEEGS people. In response to Pedro's question, I asked my potential customers what they wanted, and they said they wanted a faster horse and buggy. Since I don't understand horses and buggies, well, I created the Ford model instead. I couldn't create faster buggies, but they liked it in the end. Oh, yes, I forgot it. Sorry, guys. We studied their job to be done. Get from point A to B faster and safer. That's the point. And remember, if customers ask for a turbo donkey, check the job. They might really want the car.
So there are different kind of jobs. We have the functional jobs, the social jobs, and the emotional jobs. And we have the pains and gains related to their jobs. So they could be, for example, their challenge, their risks, their undesirable uh, outcomes. And what is the difference between tech push and market pull? Tech push is when you first create your products and service, and then you try to find a market, and the market pull, it's right the opposite. It's when you start with the customer profile and you understand their jobs and then pain and gains related, and then you create pain relievers and gain creators for that. So let's have a ISQ mini case. Here in ISQ, we are developing a climate risk tool using AI and Earth observation and the consulting ad, 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 adaptation for that. So talking with some early adopters from the real estate, we discovered that one of that jobs was to advise and convince some skeptical clients who are, for example, from the finance sector, who are building owners. But to do that job, it was hard to convince some of these clients that climate risk are a really important thing because they didn't have a low urgency and it was hard to justify these adaptation measures. So thinking of that in these jobs and the pain related, we had these ideas of the pain relievers. So one of the ideas was a feature for expected loss regarding that climate risk, so they could have some idea about that all of that expected loss during that time. And besides that, we had this idea about one feature regarding the return on investment from this adaptation. So it was easier to justify these measures. And later we will see what we have done with that. We were gonna talk later about testing. So there are different kind of customer and market insights to get and to understand the customer profile. For example, we have the data detective. So we could analyze, for example, the total addressable market from some potential innovation. So you can measure the number of companies and their potential and our potential revenue streams from that. Other measures could be, for example, we measure some Google Trends and Google keywords to see what customers are looking for. For example, in one of the services that we are developing, we use some Google tools to understand what are some potential trends. And for example, depending on the new product that you are developing, if for this product there is a digital market approach, for example, we could use some proxies from Google AdWords, so you can measure the competition regarding different countries, for example. And we also have the journalist approach, so making interviews with potential customers. But it's important to note about what questions you are doing for your potential customers. As we talked, not we have to be careful about asking directly what they want, since they don't know exactly what they want. We have to make questions to understand their customer profile, their jobs, pains, and gains. And we have other approach like the anthropologist, like the impersonator, like the co-creator, and the scientist, for example, making tests and experiments. And talking about B2B projects, we have multiple profiles. So we don't have to look only for the end user regarding your product or service. When we are working with B2B, we have to unbundle the company. So we have to see all of the customer profiles. We have to look, for example, the influencers, the recommenders, the economic buyers, and the decision makers and the saboteurs. And depending of the product and service that you are developing, you have to understand what are the most relevant customer profiles regarding your product and service. So back into that example that I gave from ISQ, when we had this idea regarding that two potential from that two potential features, we first before we start to develop this feature, we made some small tests regarding that. So, for example, we did a mock exercise that these early adopters, they had to buy and they have to prioritize some features. And then we discover that with this exercise, that features, they were one of their top ranked features. So before you start to scale, it's important for you to take your hypothesis, experiments, and then to understand if your hypothesis if you are right or not. So then you can reduce your uncertainty. So this is a really important approach. And this testing approach, it's a constant loop. So you first understand their customer profiles in deep. So then you have the ideas, you ideate, have the business prototype, you assess, you have your hypothesis, you experiment that with, for example, some cheap tests. So to be 100% sure that this feature or this product is desirable. So then you learn, and after you learn, you do it again. It's a constant loop. So then we can always reduce risk and be 100% sure that our products and service, they are valuable for our potential customers. So to recap.
Wait. You're about to finish, and you invited Henry before me, Pedro? I'm literally the light. Hashtag meta. Since I'm here, let me recap. 1. Design for their jobs. 2. Build market pull with evidence. 3. Unbundle the buying committee in B2B. Users, economic buyers, gatekeepers. Each says yes for a different reason. 4. De-risk before you scale. Run tiny desirability tests first, only then contained pilots to prove reliability and economics. Scientist to scientist. You already write hypotheses, run experiments, and track KPIs for the technology. Do the same for the business model and value proposition with the same rigor.
So as Thomas said, don't sell technology. Deliver measurable progress on the customer jobs. If you follow all of these steps, that's how business model become business. Thank you.
Wow, Pedro, thank you so much for this, I would even call innovative presentation with inviting also people with huge experience, that they were huge success to provide support and advice. That was quite imaginative, I must say. I really like that. Just before we move to any questions, Thomas, do we have any other poll to share? Okay, so the good thing is that we have people from the industry here. That's good. That's good. So we have some engagement between research and industry. Okay, that's good.
And there was one comment on what people would like to hear from today's discussion. Is just a general information about the state of the art. I suppose where CEEGS is. I assume.
Okay, so Ricardo, would you like to share some of CEEGS state of the art ideas and progress?
Well, in our case, as I presented before, very fast regarding the challenges that we were addressing. So regarding the technical side, let's say, the integration of surface and subsurface components, the results were quite, let's say, quite good. So we started assuming that we will have a global efficiency of the system around 50%, and depending on the integration that we have been simulating, we have identified that about 60% can be reached with adequate identification of parameters and operation modes. Regarding the design of the feasible designs of components, we have identified that cleaning systems adequate for integrating the surface and subsurface systems are possible, that they can work adequately, that the existing technologies of heat exchangers, turbo machinery can be adapted to the conditions required by the CEEGS needs. Regarding the wells, we have identified that it's possible to address the requirements of the operational requirements of the CEEGS. Please keep in mind that we have underground energy storage systems that it works in a completely different way compared to the carbon capture systems, we have an oscillating pressure inside. The approaches followed in the different studies in the project, they have shown that it's feasible operating within safety pressure margins with adequate for the energy storage approach. And regarding the economic feasibility and impacts, we have that the approach for technical is feasible. We identify that the impact, the life cycle assessment is adequate. Based on life cycle assessment, is show the interest of the technology. In the economic part, there are challenges regarding the cost of the underground part, how can be reduced, but it will be of interest in some places and in others don't, but also it's a challenge as everything related to this size of systems. And regarding social acceptability, the approaches that I follow within the project, they show that in the groups that has been addressed, they show interest in the technology. Some, let's say, they identify issues related common to industrial applications regarding safety, regarding how good is for the people directly affected. So the interesting question that also are very good for that show at the future how to address the technology and its explanation. Not only the explanation, not only the narrative, but also even the how to develop, how should be future modules at this level. But let's say that following the presentation of Pedro, we have made assumptions regarding how will be the interface. We consider that the surface side, most of the components were known. We considered that the underground part, most of the techniques were known. And regarding the interface and this oscillating operation that was the part completely new, we have acquired the knowledge, we have demonstrated that it's feasible, and now we have provided answers to these assumptions. Of course, we have now new new issues identified, and the technology now is at the level of, say, researchers. Now, to go to the part of industry and to go further, new steps must be done. And following the presentation of Pedro, we need to identify how to make it, how to adapt to the real needs.
Yeah, exactly. And for to have this discovery is not a really easy task, because sometimes customers they don't know exactly what they want, or they're not able to express exactly. So as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, we have to deeply understand their jobs and the pains and gains, because we can discover what kind of features, what specific issues they are addressing, and also unbundle the buying committee, because, for example, one of the greatest benefit from CEEGS, from the company point of view, it's for the company being able to have access to green funds and green finance, for example. So maybe, for example, we have to understand the customer profile, the jobs and pains from the finance part, because maybe you maybe to be 100% sure that you are that you are that you correspond to the European taxonomy, and so they can have access to this green finance. Maybe this is one of the greatest value that you can create. So that's just one example about how it's important to do this methodology and have this deep insight regarding your customer profile. And of course, that thinking about a product with a low TRL, sometimes we can't, it's hard to get some early adopters and to have some partners. However, we have some tools that can help us to understand their customer profile. So, for example, regarding this service that we are developing for climate risk, we are always watching all of the webinars from real estate and from insurance and finance, and so we can deeply understand what are they doing, what are their pains and gains. So so this is just one example. So for that, have to deeply understand what are them doing, what are all of their departments uh, from your potential customers doing, because then you can have some ideas about some potential features that are pain relievers and gain creators. So that's I believe that that's one of the most important points from today. It has this different perspective about not first produce something and then check if the market want it, but it's right up the opposite. So, but in in but regarding CEEGS project, for example, in my research and everything, so it's a technology that there is a really high potential, because most of the pains and gains from the energy sectors, CEEGS projects, it's have pain relievers. However, we have always to test our hypothesis to be 100% sure that we are in the right path. So that's the most important message.
Okay, thank you very much, Pedro. Thank you. Very exciting insights from your side. So, meanwhile, you were talking, I was thinking that when I'm an academic, and then when I think in the end user, I always think in the supermarket, something like that. No, yeah, people at the end. But it's true that probably for our case that we are in an early TRL, early stage technology, low TRL. In our case, probably we will have a customer in a next step, and probably there will be another customer in a second step and another in a third step. So probably, as you have said, probably our next customers will be, you have said, for instance, energy companies and innovation funds, both. So to be able to demonstrate the concept at higher level for someone who wants to be there, and we can provide the technology and the basis of the technology for them to advance. Yeah, it's a really good insight. Thank you, Pedro. Really like it.
Yeah, and as I said in the beginning, I think that your idea, this CEEGS idea to bring business and market people to have this talk, I think that's a really important thing to do. I think that other projects should do the same, because here in Europe, compared to Europe, we know that we have more R&D projects, but in the end, less projects become a business. So we have to address this issue. That's a gap that. So we have brilliant scientists, we have brilliant engineers, but maybe some of them, they are not going to the right path. They are spending their brilliant mind to something that the market don't want, and this is sad. This is so. I think that this idea from you guys today, that's a great idea. I believe that other projects should do the same, and for example, I think that some weeks ago, in a talk with a guy from the ANI, that's the national innovation institute here in Portugal. He said that, for example, for the IKE transition proposal, that one of the big issues that they saw, that's exactly this gap of the business perspective in that proposal. So just that's just one example that many projects they have to address this lack of business and market approach. So I just want to say that congrats for you six people, that you are 100% in the right path.
Thank you. I don't know if we at least we would love to be. So, this is not the first project in which we have good results, and then a few years later we are asked, like, what happened with this technology? And say, don't know what is it. It is great that not advancing clearly. And I don't know if someone from the audience wants to comment or to share ideas, thoughts. I think that Pedro, for instance, has put on the table the point that the Draghi report raised regarding the innovation in Europe. I don't know. I know that I have had this conversation with Pablos, for instance. So, someone want to share or to add or to disagree? But please, it's pretty informal conversation, so feel free to say what you prefer.
Well, since you mentioned our conversation for the Draghi board, it's very interesting to say that there's plenty, if most of the innovation actually happens here in EU. It takes place here actually. The problem is the implementation, and we have so much fragmented policies and so much bureaucracy during the process that the innovation actually gets killed in the spot. And this is something that the Draghi report pretty much basically says. And also Draghi himself, when he made the presentation, the European Parliament speak loud about it. And most of the innovation actually from EU gets exported to United States or other places, mostly United States. So basically, we subsidizing other economies with our innovation. So this is something that we really, really need to consider that. Because if innovation happens in EU, in European countries, but we kill it, that this is something serious. It's fundamental that we keep it here and we make our European Union competitive. This is one of the most critical things. So, it seems that we are quite good in innovation, actually.
Yeah.
On the contrary, by saying that we haven't been, it's the implementation. I don't know if anyone would like to comment on that or say I have a question or a general question, but that was the general remark from the Draghi report.
I fully agree with you, Pablos. Fully agree.
Yes, we have a question. Okay, thank you very much. It's always very nice to hear this kind of feedback. It's encouraging, the least, I must say. I don't know. Perhaps Ricardo, this is our last coffee chat, as I mentioned in the very beginning. So I don't know if you want to have a concluding remark before we close the session.
Okay, well, it's the last coffee chat. It's the last month of the project. It has been a really nice project. We have learned a lot of. We have made good friends also inside. That is also a very important thing. We have advanced in a specific technology that we expect that it will pass to higher levels. Maybe as we have conceived it now, or maybe with variations. Probably we will have variations because, as we have said, we have to adapt what it's really needed, not what we like, not just to use the same models and follow for. So, but it has been a really exciting journey, a really good travel, and thank you all of you that has contributed. This is the last coffee chat. We will have another meeting, and this is not say goodbye, but we will be soon. Just that. Of course, you have all the information in LinkedIn. You have the web page of the project, and most of the deliverables will be available in this in there. So, yeah, anything that you need, please don't hesitate in contact, writing. It's always great to have feedback, discussion, um, opportunities for thinking and advancing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ricardo. I will also
Thank you.
add that the end of the project is not the end of the idea and the concept. In fact, it's quite the opposite. So with the beginning of the project and succeeding on delivering something tangible, we actually pave the way to diversify and create more opportunities. So if any of you guys would like to get in touch or share any ideas for further work, we actually currently working on future proposals to continue on the concept. So this is a great opportunity also to step forward and maybe share ideas and get networked with us. So thank you so much for being around. Thanks for sharing your time and drinking coffee with us. It was certainly a pleasure. It was what a journey, I must say. Ricardo, Julio, other colleagues, Anita, Thomas, uh, colleagues from CERT also. Pedro, thank you also for your last intervention here. It was a privilege to have you here and provide us with some business models. I will certainly keep notes and I will use them. So thank you so much for this. It has been a pleasure to host also the coffee chat for CEEGS together with Marka Pomach, which also sends his regards. So we'll see you. Okay? It's not a bye. We'll see you. Take care then.
See you soon.
Bye bye.
Take care.
See you
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.